Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math.
Hi, I'm Sean Gannon, and this is Minute Math. And today, we're going to learn about evaluating expressions. We're going to be given specific variables that we need to use. So, if I was given this expression, y divided by 2 plus x, and I want to use x equals 1 and y equals 2. So I'm given x equals 1 and y equals 2. So I have y divided by 2 plus x. So I have x is 1 and y is 2. So I need to substitute 1 in for x and y for 2. Then I need to simplify. Okay? So whenever I substitute, I like to use parentheses. So y, they told me y is equal to 2. So instead of y, I'm writing the number 2. Divided by this 2 plus, when x is there, I can replace x with 1. Again, parentheses showing that I substituted something in, and then I've substituted my first step right here. So I substituted first, I have the 1 in for x, and now I just need to simplify. So left to right, right? And so we have division comes before, also addition. So 2 divided by 2 comes out to be 1, just like any number divided by itself. Bring down the 1 plus 1, and 2 is my final answer. A minus 5 minus b. And I need to use a to be 10 and b equal to 4. Okay. Well, I have a minus 5 minus b, and I need to use a equals 10 and b equals 4. So our first step here is we substitute our numbers for our variables. So if a is 10, whenever I see a, I replace it with the number 10. So there it is. Minus 5, minus, and then b becomes 4. So wherever I see a b, I replace it with 4. And again, I always use parentheses. Use your parentheses whenever you substitute in. So you know that you just substituted that variable in, or whatever it ends up being. It's good practice. Well, 10 minus 5, right? All subtraction here, left to right, 10 minus 5 comes first. 10 minus 5 is 5, minus 4, and 5 minus 4 is just 1. And there, we're done. P squared plus m. And I was told to use m equal to 1 and p equal to 5. Okay? Well, if I was given that, let's put and in there. So p squared plus m. Well, if m is 1, again, we substitute first. So parentheses 1 squared plus m. Sorry, p comes out to be 5, 5, and m is 1. Be careful. May always double check that. I was testing you. M is 1, right there, and p is 5. Parentheses, 5, then squared. Right now you're wondering, well, why do I have the parentheses? It will come into play later, and it's important to think about. So 5 squared comes out to be 25, and 1 is just 1. So 25 plus 1 is 26. And there we go. Y plus 9 minus x. And we need to use x equals 1 and y equals 3. Okay? Well, but I want to simplify this. Okay? I first need to substitute the values in. So if x is 1, 1 goes in for x and 3 goes in for y. So let's do the 3 first. Wherever I see a y, I put a 3 and put parentheses around it, 9, minus x to be 1, right? So now, again, putting parentheses around the 1. So 3 plus 9 comes first. 3 plus 9 is 12 minus 1, and 12 minus 1 is 11. And there's our final answer. M plus p divided by 5. And I want to use m equals 1 and p equals 5. Okay? So if I want to evaluate that expression, m plus p divided by 5, we want to substitute first. M to be 1 and p is 5. Again, put parentheses around what you're substituting in. 1 plus p, which is 5, divided by 5. Now we need to use our order of operations. Well, division comes before addition. So division first, 5 divided by 5, just like any number divided by itself, is 1. So we bring down the 1, plus 1 here, and 1 plus 1 is 2. And that is our final answer. Y squared minus x. And I need to use these variables, x equals 7, and y equals 7 as well. So we want to substitute in first. So if x is 7 is y and 7, right? Well, they're both the same. So for every y and x, we put 7 in, but it's always good to have to keep track where it came from visually. Y squared, right? Y being 7, 7 squared here, parentheses, minus x is 7, 7 in parentheses, showing that you substituted that in that step. Well, 7 squared comes out to be 49 minus 7, bring that 7, and 49 minus 7 comes out to be 42. And there's our final answer, 42. Z times x plus y. And I need to use the variables, use x equals 6, y equals 8, and z equals 6. Okay? So z and x are both 6, y is 8. 3 variables this time. So again, same thing as before, same steps. We substitute in. So z is 6, put parentheses around it, 6. X comes out to be 6 as well, and plus y, which is 8. Okay? Now sometimes right here, this is where maybe you're thinking, well, maybe parentheses aren't the best, and I might agree with the inside here, the 6 plus 8, right? So my next step, I'm definitely not having that in there anymore, but 6 plus 8 now, they're inside these parentheses here, so 6 plus 8 comes first, and that comes out to be 14. And then the 6 on the outside. Well, what's 14 times 6? Well, 14 times 6, that's what's left here, is 84. Okay, 84, my final answer. X plus y plus y. And I need to use x equals 9 and y equals 10. Well, this one's tricky because we have 2 y's written there, right? Y plus y. But just like every other process, we substitute first, right? So, or every other time. So x equals 9, 9 here, plus y, which is 10, plus y again, which is 10. Well, what's 9 plus 10? 9 plus 10, left to right, addition, is 19 plus 10, and 19 plus 10 is 29. And there's my final answer. P to the third plus 10 plus m. I want to use m equals 9 and p equals 3. So, given that, all right, I want to substitute first, right? Substitute. So m is 9 and p is 3. Well, m right here, that 9, put parentheses, 10 here, plus, working backwards, p equals 3, so p is to the third power. So we have 3 to the third. Funny how they always put a lot of 3's together or 2's together to try to throw you off. Well, now we need to simplify. In parentheses, nothing else we can do, right? Everything's simplified with inside parentheses, but outside we have an exponent. The 3 to the third power. So what is 3 to the third power? Well, 3 to the third is 3 times 3 times 3, right? 3 3's multiplied together. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So I'm going to have 27 plus 10 plus 9. Well, 27 plus 10 is 37 plus 9. And 37 plus 9 is 46. And there's our final answer. 6q, that's a G, whoopsie, Q, 6q, plus m minus m, and we want to use m equals 8 and q equals 3. That's what a q looks like. So we want to first substitute in our m's and our q's. Well, q first, 6 times q, which is 3, plus m, which is 8, parentheses, 8 in the n as well. So now we think about our order of operations. 6 times 3 comes first in this case here, when 6 times 3 is 18. Add 8 minus 8. 18 plus 8 is what? 26 minus 8, and 26 minus 8 comes out to be 18 again, and our final answer. P to the second power times m divided by 4. And we want to use m equals 4 and p equals 7. All right? We need to substitute first. So m is 4 and p is 7. So let's put 7 in for p. 7 squared times m, in this case, which is 4, and divided by 4. So m is 4 and p is 7. And this is where parentheses helps declutter everything. It kind of separates it. It sees what's going on here. Well, 7 squared comes first, right? 7 squared comes first, which is 49, times 4 divided by 4. Now this is a tricky thing. I know the final answer is going to be 49 because although it's multiplication, 49 times 4, I then divide by 4. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. Whenever we take 49 and we multiply it by 4, whatever that number is, I know if I divide by 4, I get back to 49. But let's go simplify this out here, okay? 49 times 4, what could that be? So if you want to take it to the side here, 49 times 4, show a little scratch work on the side. Let's not go rush the calculator here. What's 9 times 4? Well, 9 times 4, well, do you remember? 9 times 4 is 36, 6, 3 up here. And 4 times 4 is 16. Add the 3 to it, and we get 19. So 49 times 4 is 196. So 196 is my answer, divided by 4. And you take my word for it, 196 divided by 4 is 4 again. Okay? So y minus z plus z to the second power. And we need to use y equals 10 and z equals 2. So y minus z plus z all squared, and we use y equals 10 and z equals 2. Well, z plus z, right, we need to substitute first. So we have the y out here, the 10 first, subtracted by, inside the parentheses, 2 is our z plus 2, all to the second power. Oh, there we go. So exponents come first. Well, we deal with inside the parentheses, then we have to deal with the next part in here. Well, the parentheses here, right, deal with the inside, then we see the 2 squared. We deal with that. So we have 2 plus 2 squared, which is 4, 10 on the outside, subtraction. And now we have 2 plus 4, which is 6. So we have 10 minus 6 here at the end. And 10 minus 6 is 4. Z minus y divided by 3 minus 1. And I want to use y equals 3 and z equals 7. Okay? Well, we first want to substitute. So we have y equals 3 and z is 7. Well, 3 goes in for y. So y is our 3 here, divided by 3 minus 1. And z is 7, so 7 minus on the outside. So let's deal with inside this parentheses first. 3 divided by 3, well, that's just 1, right? Any number divided by itself is 1, okay? So now we have 1 minus 1, which is 0, right? It's inside the parentheses. We need to do that first. 7 on the outside minus 0, and 7 minus 0 is good old lucky 7. Y plus x divided by 2 plus x. And I want to use x equals 1 and y equals 1. Okay? Well, if I was given that, right, this expression, y plus x divided by 2 plus x, and x is 1 and y is 1. Well, x is 1, we're going to substitute that in, and y is 1, we substitute that in. So we have 1 here plus 1 in for x divided by 2 plus 1 in for x, right? So again, this one is for the y, this one's for the x, and this one's for this x. Well, inside the parentheses first, 1 plus 1 is 2, divided by 2 plus 1. And 2 divided by 2, division comes before addition. 2 divided by 2 is 4, plus 1, and 4 plus 1 is 5. P minus 9 minus m plus q. I'm going to use the variables m equals 4, p equals 5, and q equals 3. Okay? So again, we're given this expression. We want to substitute each one of these variables into the corresponding variable there. So m is 4, p is 5, and q is 3. So the first letter I see here is a p, which is a 5. So 5 right here for p. Subtracting 9 here, right? Yeah, that was 9. Minus m, which we know to be 4, plus q, which is 3. And now we've substituted every single one of these variables to the corresponding one here and put the numbers in. So now we need to simplify. Let's remember our order of operations. So inside these sets of parentheses here, I have the 4 plus the 3. I need to combine those together first. So the 9 stays out here. 4 plus 3 is 7. And we have the 5 minus on the outside. Okay? So now we have this set of parentheses right there, and we need to subtract inside of there first. So we have 9 minus 7 comes first. So 9 minus 7 comes out to be 2. 5 comes out. And lastly, 5 minus 2 is 3. And 3 is my final answer. A squared minus b divided by 6. And we're using a equals 5 and b equals 1. Okay? So a squared minus b divided by 6. We're using a, 5, and b is 1. So our first step is we want to substitute, all right, a to be 5 and b 1. So wherever we see an a, we put a 5 in. And wherever we see a b, we put a 1 in. So right here in the beginning, I have a, which is 5, squared, minus b, which is 1. And then we divide it by 6 on the outside. So now we need to simplify. Well, our order of operations, talk about parentheses first. So we have this set of parentheses, so we have to deal with what's on the inside first. But inside of that, we have exponents. Exponent's the biggest one there. So 5 squared comes out to be 25 minus 1 divided by 6. So now we're inside these parentheses. We need to deal with that first. 25 minus 1 comes out to be 24 divided by 6. And lastly, 24 divided by 6 is what's left, and that comes out to be good old 4. 6 plus h squared minus j divided by 2. I'm going to use h equals 6 and j equals 4. Okay? So we want to take these variables here and substitute them into the corresponding variables here in our expression. So 6 is by itself. I'm leaving that out here. But h we know to be 6 squared minus j in this case, which is 4, divided by 2. Okay? There's a lot of parentheses and a lot of 6's here. So let's take our time. So we have 6 squared minus 4 here going on, and we have plus 6 out here. Exponents come first. So 6 squared comes out to be 36. So 6 plus 36 minus 4 divided by 2. Well, now we have all of this inside the parentheses, okay? So we can deal with that all together if we like. So we have 6 plus 36 minus 4. Well, 6 plus 36 is 42 minus 4. And 42 minus 4 is 38. And lastly, 38 divided by 2, okay? What is that there? Well, that is 19. And there's our final answer. Y minus 4 minus x minus y divided by 2. And we wanted to use the variables x equals 3 and y equals 2. Okay? Well, our first step is to substitute these variables, the numbers, for the variables here. So y we see as a 2 minus parentheses 4 minus x, which is 3, minus y is 2, divided by 2. Okay? So now it's time to simplify. So we have the big parentheses here, we need to deal with the inside, and inside, all of our numbers are separated by an operation, subtraction, subtraction, and division. So we need to deal with that division first. 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So 2 is on the outside. 4 minus 3 minus, well, let's answer that, 1. So now we need to simplify the inside. Well, 4 minus 3 comes first, right? Let's read left to right. They're all the same, so we read left to right. 2 is on the outside because it's outside the parentheses. 4 minus 3 is 1, minus 1. And 1 minus 1 here is 0. So we have 2 minus 0. And 2 minus 0 is good old 2. And that's our final answer. So again, quick recap here is that we have our variables, 3 and 2. We substituted them in for the corresponding variables. Y was 2 and x was 3. We dealt with inside the parentheses first. First operation inside the parentheses was division. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Then 4 minus 3 was our next step. 4 minus 3 is 1. And then 1 minus 1 was in the parentheses. That became 0. Okay? And 2 minus 0 is x to the third divided by 3 minus y. And we wanted to use x equals 3 and y equals 1. Okay? So x divided by 3 minus y. So we need to substitute variables here, x is 3 and y is 1, into our expression. Well, x is 3, so we have 3 to the third power divided by 3 minus y, which is 1. Well, 3 to the third power is 27, right? 3 times 3 is 9, times another 3 is 27, divided by 3 minus 1. Now, why do we do that step first? Well, exponents are our first step in the order of operations, okay? So now we're left with division and subtraction. Well, the highest step here is division. So now we need to deal with 27 divided by 3. Well, 27 divided by 3 is 9. And we bring down to minus 1. 9 minus 1 comes out to be 8, and there's our final answer. P plus Q, all to the second power, minus 5 minus 5. And we want to use the variables, P being 1, and Q equal 1 as well. A lot of 1s here. Okay? So we substitute P equals 1 and Q equals 1 here. 1 plus 1 squared minus 5 minus 5. And this time I'm actually not going to put the parentheses around the 1s. I felt it maybe with 1s and parentheses might be a little more difficult, but this one corresponds with that P and this one with that Q. Well, 1 plus 1 is inside the parentheses, and parentheses come before exponents. So whatever happens inside the parentheses need to happen first before we have that exponent. Well, 1 plus 1 is 2, minus, inside this parentheses 2, we can simplify. 5 minus 5 was 0, or is 0. So now we're left with 2 squared, the next step, exponents. 2 squared is 4, minus 0, and 4 minus 0 is 4, our final answer. 12k minus h squared, and we want to use h to be 2 and k to equal 3. Well, now we need to substitute in first. H is 2, so wherever we see an H, we see a 2, and k is 3. So 12, get that 2 right, 3 is k, minus h, which is 2 squared. Well, now multiplication and exponents we have to deal with subtraction in the middle. So 2 to the second power is 4, right? Exponents. And then since we're separated by the subtraction sign, I can do the 12 minus 3, or times 3 first. And 12 times 3 is 36. So now we have 36 minus 4 to be left, and 36 minus 4 is 32. And that is my final answer. Y divided by 5 plus 1 plus x divided by 6. And we're going to use x equals 6 and y equals 5. Okay. Well, y divided by 5 plus 1 plus x divided by 6, we need to plug in our x equals 6 and y equals 5. Well, if x is 6 first, so that goes in here, and y is 5, so this y here is 5 divided by 5 plus 1 plus x, which is 6, divided by 6. Well, 5 divided by 5, division, is one of our highest orders here. We have two sets of division here, so 5 divided by 5 is 20. It's not 25, is 1, right? Any number divided by itself is 1. Plus 1 comes down, plus, separating here, plus 6 divided by 6, right? That outranks the plus sign, so we have 1 as well. So now we have 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is 3, our final answer. 6 divided by 6 plus z plus x minus y. And we want to use x to be 2, y to be 5, and here z to be 6. Okay? We need to take each one and substitute it into the corresponding variables. Well, 6 divided by 6 is on the outside. Z is here to be 6 as well. X is 2, and y is 5. So now we need to follow our order of operations. Well, I see addition, subtraction, and division. Division is the highest order, so let's deal with that first. 6 divided by 6 is 1, plus 6 plus 2 minus 5. And now let's start to read left to right. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 2 minus 5. 7 plus 2 is 9, minus 5. And 9 minus 5 is 4. And there's our final answer. Y minus z plus xz divided by 6. And we want to use x equals 3, y equals 4, and z equals to 4 as well. So our first step, let's substitute everything in. Alright, so x is 3, y is 4, and z is 4. So y is 4, so 4 out here, minus z, which is 4, plus x times z, well, x is 3, y times z is 4, and we divide it by 6. Okay. So now let's look at it. We have our orders here. We have multiplication and division. Well, multiplication and division, they're all next to each other. Multiply, divide, so we read left to right first. Okay. So 4 minus 4, I'm going to leave out here for right now. 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 6. Now I can take the 12 divided by 6, which comes out to be 2. So the 2 comes out here, and we have 4 minus 4. So now we have subtraction and addition, which are the same level. And so we have 4 minus 4, which is 0 first, plus 2. And 0 plus 2 comes out to be 2. And there's our final answer. Y over 2 plus x plus 4 plus z plus y. And we want to use x equals 7, y equals 2, and z equals 4. Okay? Well, we're going to substitute in each one of these variables to the corresponding variables. Y goes to 2, so 2 up here, over 2, plus x, which is a 7, 4, which is nothing. I guess there's no need for the parenthesis there. Let's see if I can get that out there. Not make it too messy. That was a y for a second. Plus z, which is 4, and this last y, which is a 2. So now we need to simplify. Well, division here is one of the highest orders. So division, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 plus 7 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2. And now, since it's all addition, I think we can add some of them together here. Let's kind of group them. All right. 1 plus 7 is 8. All right. And 4 plus 4 is 8 plus 2. And then 8 plus 8 is 16 plus 2. And 16 plus 2 is 18. And there's our final answer. C equals, times BC over 4 minus 7 minus A. And we're going to use A equal to 4, B equal to 8, and C equal to 5. Okay? So our first step is always, let's substitute our values in. C is 5, that is first, times B times C, B is 8, and here, I'm going to do it like this, 8 times C, which is 5, over 4, minus 7 minus A, which is 4. Okay? So now let's simplify. We have what's going on inside the parentheses here, so let me deal with that first. 5 is on the outside. 8 times 5 is 40, right? So 40 over 4 minus 7 minus 4, that's inside another set of parentheses, so let's deal with that. 7 minus 4 is 3. Well, what's 40 divided by 4, right? That's our next step here. We have to simplify that fraction. Let's deal with that. So 5, I'm going to keep on the outside. And 40 divided by 4 is 10 minus 3. And lastly, or not lastly, almost penultimately, 5 times 10 is 50. Multiplication comes before subtraction. And 50 minus 3 is 47.
Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. Minute Math. When you need help, you use Minute Math. MinuteMathTutor.com.